Hello, my name is Nathan. You're watching Nice at Dice, and today I'm going to be playing this game, Marvel United. This is a cooperative game for one or more players where you control Marvel Comics heroes fighting against a Marvel villain. You're all working together. It's a pretty simple, straightforward game. It has to do with hand management, playing cards, moving around the board, and using your actions in the most strategic way you can. This isn't really a teaching video, but I'm going to sort of walk you through basically how the game works as I play it, so in case you're not familiar with it, you can follow along. All right, we're going to go right to the game and we'll get started. So again, I have the game set up here. I've set it up for 3 players. I'm going to be playing by myself, but I'm sort of simulating a 3-player game. And this isn't exactly how you would set up the game normally. I've kind of set it up a little bit differently in order to fit my space constraints here. But basically what you're looking at is you have 6 locations and they form sort of a circle here. Each location has a special ability on it, but the special abilities are covered up to begin with by these what are called crisis cards. Crisis cards are different for depending on which villain you're going up against. In this case, I'm going up against Red Skull. Red Skull gets a villain dashboard and a deck of cards, plus his crisis cards, one on each location. And we have his miniature here, which is just going to start out over here on Stark Labs. Each location also has some of these tokens. You have, they're double-sided. On one side they have a thug, on the other side they have a civilian. You're trying to, defeat the thugs and rescue the civilians. The overall objective of the game is to defeat Red Skull. Red Skull has a number of these health tokens. You're trying to get rid of all those. And he also has this track here from 0 to 20, and he is going to be moving this little cube up the track, and if it ever gets to 20, you lose the game. So you're trying to get rid of all his health before he gets this, his fear track up to 20. Before you can actually start damaging Red Skull, though, you have to complete at least 3 of these objectives. You have 3 objectives. You have rescue civilians. You got to put 9 civilian tokens on here, having rescued them. You've got defeat thugs. You got to put 9 thugs on here, having defeated them. Or you have to clear 4 threats. Threats, again, being these cards. So when you clear 4 of these cards, you will have completed this mission. So the first mission you clear causes the villain to kind of become more active. He starts acting more often in the game. The second one of these you clear means that you can now start damaging the villain, taking out his health tokens. And then if you clear the third one, then everybody gets to draw an extra card. So that's a little extra bonus, but you don't have to do it. And you can clear these missions in any order. It doesn't matter what order you clear them in. Over here we have our player decks in hand. So each hero gets a deck of cards, and they start out with 3 of those cards in their hand. So that's what I have kind of simulated over here. 3 hands of cards for the heroes. We're playing with Black Widow, Captain America, and Iron Man. And they each have their miniatures, which are going to start over here on the Avengers Tower. Now, how the game plays is you start by flipping over one of the villain's cards, and the villain is going to have a symbol like this. This shows that he's moving 3 spaces clockwise, so he will go 1, 2, 3 and stop where the heroes are. And then he's going to do this, which says basically he adds 2 civilians to the location he's on, and then 1 civilian each to the locations immediately to the left and right of his location. So we'll go ahead and resolve all of that. So 2 to his location, okay, and then 1 to each adjacent location. So now what you'll notice is on these location cards, let's see if I can pick one of these up without spilling everything. You have a number of spots here, right? You have like these little white outlines of a square, and those are the spots where the civilians or thugs go. Once all the spots are full, you cannot add additional civilians or thugs. Anytime you would have an overflow, in other words, you're supposed to add either civilians or thugs, but you can't, then that causes his fear track to go up. So that's not going to be good. So we want to try and keep some space in each location for more civilians and thugs to be added. Otherwise, we're going to start getting that overflow. And as you can see, maybe, hopefully you can make it out in the video, these two locations here on the bottom are now full. So we got to try and work at clearing some of that out. After the villain plays a card, each hero is going to get a chance to take a turn and play a card, and then the villain's going to play another card. Now, normally the rules tell you to build like one continuous line of cards. It's called the storyline. I don't have space to do that, so I'm going to be playing the villain's cards over here, and I'm going to be playing the hero's cards to a little line down here. I'm going to let it build up like 3 cards, and then I'll condense it and build some more off of that. All right, so that's what's going on. If you're familiar with the game, or if you pick up the game later and you're like, this doesn't look like how Nathan was doing it, that's why. All right, so we're going to start with Black Widow. First thing she does is draw another card, and then she's got 4 cards to play. Now, each of these cards has some symbols on it, and so I'll give you a quick look at some of these cards. All right, basically, none of them do anything except for their symbols, though there are going to be cards that have some special effects on them. But this symbol, the green arrow, lets you move, so she could move, from her location 1 space in either direction. The star, this is called a heroic action. You can use this to rescue a bystander or civilian, or you can use it to fill some of these crisis cards. So you'd have to put 3 heroic actions on this card to clear it. All right, so that's basically what that does. This is a wild symbol. It can be any other symbol you want. And then this is I forget what they call it, but basically it's an attack symbol. So you can use this to simply take out a thug if you want, or you can use it to take 1 health marker off of either Red Skull or some of his minions. He's got 3 minions out here, or henchmen, I think they're called. So you can use that to beat up on those guys. Okay, so let's see, what options does she have? She has 1 wild, 2 wilds, or she has these 2 cards that each have a move and then either a heroic action or an attack. Well, I think right now we want to clear out some of the space on these 2 cards so they don't overflow. She's right here, so she could use the heroic action to clear a thing there. But, well, yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Okay, so well, I don't know, because the thing I'm thinking is, all right, so I'm thinking ahead. He's going to go in a little bit, and when he goes, he's going to probably move and then do something. So if he brings out more civilians or thugs or something, it's probably not going to happen on the space he's on right now, because he'll probably move first. So this is actually a bigger threat than this. So for that reason, let's go with this one. All right. So we'll play this card. She's going to get to do a move and a heroic action. She'll move here, and she'll use her heroic action to rescue this civilian. All right. We'll put the civilian over here, so we're tracking our progress towards completing this objective. All right. Okay, then Cap's up. So Cap's going to draw a card, plus he's got these 3 cards here. So he has basically a different combination of options. And now, since we're past the first, player turn, when we play another card, like let's say we play this card, we're going to play it to our little line down here. He's going to get the 2 symbols on the card he just played, plus he gets the 2 symbols on the previous card in the line. So going forward, that's always going to be how it works. You get your 2 symbols and the 2 symbols from the previous hero card in the line. All right, so Cap's already going to have a move and a heroic action. That's pretty cool. So let's see what else he could do. He could, Okay, let's go ahead and play this card. This is going to give him 2 attacks. So he's got a move, 2 attacks, and a heroic. He'll use his heroic action to go ahead and rescue a bystander there. Then he'll move here, and then he'll use his 2 attacks to take out these 2 thugs. All right. So now we've cleared out a pretty good amount of space here, and we've made progress towards 2 of our missions. So that's nice. Now Iron Man is up. Okay, so Iron Man has a couple of these cards that have special powers on them. So this one is called Stark Resources. Distribute 2 of these move tokens, all right, to from the pool among any number of heroes. So I can distribute 2 of these to any number of heroes. So that's pretty cool. And that'll be in addition to the symbol. And then this one says, power recharge. You may draw cards until you have 3 in your hand. All right, so that's not useful at this point in the game because I already have 4 cards in my hand at the moment. Okay, so I could use this. What do I want him to do? I think I want to start taking out some of these bad guys. I want to start taking out some of these henchmen, right? We have Madame Mask. We have Bob, Agent of Hydra. And we have Crossbones. Let's see. So Crossbones is the most dangerous, but will also be the most difficult to take out. I have 2 attacks already, right, from Captain America's card that he just played. So I'm going to have 2 attacks. So I'm just looking to see what do I add on to those 2 attacks. All right, well, I could play this card. This would give me a move and another attack. So let's try that. All right, so we're going to move. Okay, so I'm either going to move here or here and attack these henchmen. Which one do I want to focus on? This guy's the more dangerous. Crossbones is the more dangerous down here. She has slightly lower hit points, so it'll be easier to take her out. So do I go for the more dangerous, or do I go for the one that's easier to take out? Well, I think I'll go for... the more dangerous. We'll try and gang up on him. All right, so I move over there, and I take off 3 of his hit points. All right. Okay. So now that we've had 3 player turns, it's going to be Red Skull's turn again. So his card is going to have him move 1. Oh, he moved right there where all my guys are. And then he does his BAM effect. So this over here tells us what his BAM effect is. It says deal 1 damage to each hero in Red Skull's location and increase the fear track by 2. So we increase that by 2. And we deal 1 damage. I'll handle that in a second. We're also going to add some more civilians to the board. So 2 to his location. And 1 to each location to the left and right. Okay. All right. So we needed to do 1 damage to each hero there. Also, these 2 guys, their BAM effects also trigger. Hers doesn't do anything because nobody's there. But his is going to deal 2 damage to each hero in this location. Any hero can prevent this effect by taking 2 crisis tokens. Well, we're going to do that. So somebody's going to take 2 crisis tokens. Let's just give those to Black Widow, maybe. All right, so we're going to give her 2 crisis tokens. Those might come up later, or they might not, depending on what cards come out of his deck. But everybody still has to take 1 damage. So taking 1 damage just means taking 1 card from your hand and putting it on the bottom of your deck. So let's go with this card, maybe, for him. This is a pretty weak card, so we'll go with that for him. And we'll go with this for her. All right. There we are. Okay, so now it's back to our heroes. Black Widow's going to draw a card, and she's going to decide what to do. She's got an attack and a move. And we got to keep in mind that Red Skull's probably going to be moving up this way, right? So we got to kind of, like stay ahead of him to some extent and clear out stuff so he doesn't cause overflow, right? As much as we can. So I think I'm going to play this card for her. So we're just going to condense these a little bit. She's playing So she has 2 movement and 2 attack, basically. So we're going to move her here. She's going to attack this, and then attack this guy. And then she's going to go ahead and move up there for her next move. All right, that's pretty good, I think. You know what? I think maybe I'll put this guy back. I'll put that back. Instead, I'll move up here, attack one of those thugs, which I just did, and then I'll move up here and attack another thug. We'll do it like that instead. All right? Okay, so that's Widow. Next we have Cap. All right, so Cap just drew a card. It's got the move, but it also has a special ability, Leadership. Give a wild token from the pool to another hero. Okay, so that could be nice. And we have a move and an attack from Widow's card. So, Okay, I'm noticing this is full again, so we might want to think about that. But this is pretty close to being full too, although it's not, again, he's not likely to put like 2 things on this. So, all right, let's go ahead and do I'm just not sure. Let's see. Let's go with this wild. We'll have him move. He'll use the attack where he's at to take out this. All right, and then he'll use the move to go here, and he'll use the wild to rescue one of these. All right, that'll be it for him. All right, Iron Man. So Iron Man pulled another card of the special ability, Advanced Combat Analysis. Distribute 2 attack tokens from the pool among any number of heroes. And it gives him a move. All right. And he's going to have a wild. So that's good. There's nothing here that will give him any attack. All right, I'm thinking maybe we'll play this. That'll give him 2 heroic actions. He can rescue 2 of these guys. Let's progress on this mission over here. And he's got a wild, which he can use to punch this guy. Now we're pretty close to taking him out. All right. Okay, so now it's back to Red Skull. Red Skull's going to move 1 space. And then he's going to add some thugs. So he's going to add 2 thugs to his location, and 1 to each adjacent location. Okay. All right, that's not too bad. All right, back to Black Widow. So she's going to draw a card. That gave her a possibility of move and heroic. All right, and she is going to get 2 heroic actions automatically. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, interesting. All right. Well, she could, since she's got 2 heroic actions already, she could play this card, which gives her another heroic action and a move. And then she could use all 3 of her heroic actions to clear this threat. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, that's some progress on our 3rd objective. She's got to move. But now that she's cleared this objective, she's opened up this end of turn ability on here, which says you may swap one card from your hand with one of your cards in the storyline. So that's an interesting possibility that she could have if we left her there. Otherwise, moving her... I mean, I think maybe moving her like here, kind of keeping her ahead of him a little bit. I don't know. I don't know that moving her is necessarily the best idea. So I think what I'll do, I'll keep her where she is. So she can use this. She gets to swap something out. I think I'll swap out this card, which just has one attack, for this card, which has a move and an attack. So that's slightly better. All right. Now it's Cap's turn. Okay. He drew a card that gives him 2 heroic actions. So he's going to have a move and a heroic action. We can give him 2 more heroic actions. So he's going to have... He could have 3 heroic actions. That's kind of cool. Or he could use this, which would give him an attack, a move and an attack. So he'd have 2 moves, an attack, and an heroic action. That means he could use, he could move over here and take out Crossbones, because Crossbones only has 1 hit left on him. And he could also rescue a bystander, maybe from here, before he moves. Bystander, civilian, whatever they're called. He'd have an extra move left that he doesn't really need, because I don't know where particularly I'd want to move him a second time. But dealing with Crossbones might be good. Of course, there's the possibility that Iron Man, who's already here, could deal with Crossbones. So maybe I don't need to worry about that. If I'm not going to worry about that, then the question becomes, maybe it's better to use this, because then he'd have 3 heroic actions. He could clear this threat card. That might be good. Yeah, we'll go for it. I don't normally try like super hard to clear the threat cards, but we'll go for it this time. All right, so we cleared that. Okay, this has an end of turn ability, which is you may search your deck for 1 card and set it aside, then shuffle your deck and place that card on top. So if I have him stay there, he can use that. Otherwise, we're going to move him. I'm not sure where to move him, though. He's pretty good where he's at. So I think we'll do that. So if he ends his turn there, I get to search for 1 card and set it aside, then shuffle my deck and place that card on top. So 1 card. Well, if I can get any 1 card, I guess maybe this card would be good. This gives me 2 wilds. That's pretty good. Yeah, shuffle it up. Place that on top. All right. That'll be the end of his turn. Iron Man's up next. Oh, nice. 2 attack. Okay. Yeah, that's good. He's going to get 2 heroic actions, and we'll give him these 2 attack. So, with the 2 attack, he can finish off Crossbones. All right, that's good. That clears another threat. And we can take out this Thug, which is progress towards that mission. And then with his 2 heroic actions, he can rescue these 2 civilians. That's progress towards that objective. And he's going to end his turn here, and we've now cleared this space where there's an end of turn thing, which says you may move up to 2 civilians or thugs in any combination from this location to any other locations. Oh, well, we don't have any either, so that's all right. Doesn't do anything. But still, that was pretty good. That was a pretty productive turn right there. Okay, so Red Skull's up again. Okay, so he's not going to move because he's got a 0 there. He's going to do his BAM effect, which there's nobody there for him to damage, so he's just going to move this track up by 2. And then it says Hydra Insurgency. For each crisis token the heroes have, advance the fear track by 1. Widow's got 2 crisis tokens, so we're going to move that up twice. Okay, that's it. All right, well, that wasn't too bad. And we're back to Black Widow. So she's going to draw a new card that gives her a couple of heroic actions. And she's going to be getting a couple of attacks. Okay, so she's going to get a couple of attacks. She has either 2 wilds, 2 heroic, or a move and an attack. Well, I'm thinking maybe focusing on attacking is maybe the way to go. So if we play that card, that'll give us 1 move and 3 attacks. We could use 2 attacks to take out these 2 guys. Oops. All right, and then we could move here and use an attack to clear that. Okay. All right, sounds good. And we've got Cap. All right, Cap just drew 2 wilds, and he's already going to get a move and an attack from Widow. So what else do we want him to do? Okay, well, he could play this card that will give him another move and an attack. So he'd have 2 moves, 2 attacks. He could run all the way up here and take out these 2 thugs. That might be something. Yeah, let's go for it. Well, alternatively, he could play this card. He'd still get the 2 moves, but only 1 attack. He could move up here, he could take out 1 of the thugs. And he could give a wild token from the pool to another hero. Let's do that. So we'll play that card. Take out a thug. And give a wild. Who do we gonna give the wild to? Either Widow or Iron Man. Well, we'll just give it to Iron Man because he's going to go next. Okay. Now, we have cleared one of our objectives over here by defeating 9 thugs. So, get that card out of the way. And, go ahead and slide that over. Because we have unlocked one of our objectives, the villain is going to act after every 2 hero cards. So I have had 2 hero cards since the last time he acted with Black Widow and Cap. So he is going to go again. Alright, he is not going to move, and he's going to use this Hail Hydra effect, which is discard all civilians from locations with heroes. Ooh, alright, so that's 2, 3. So we're just discarding those. And deal 1 damage to each of those heroes. Okay, so she would take a damage, and so Widow and Cap would each take 1 damage. And then advance the fear track by the number of civilians discarded. So that gets advanced 3. It's at 9 now. Okay, and Widow and Cap each need to take a damage. Okay, we'll put this one on the bottom for her. Get rid of a card that just has 2 stars on it. And for him, well, we'll get rid of the one that has a move and an attack instead of the one that has 2 wilds. That's obviously better. All right, Iron Man's turn. So here's what Iron Man's got to do. He's got to either rescue 2 civilians or clear another threat. Probably, he's already got to move, definitely, and he gets to draw a card, which gives him... Okay, so, alright, he's got some options here. He's going to get a move from Cap's last card. And if we use this card, then he'll have a wild. Plus, he's got a wild token that he got from Cap. So he could use the move to move over here to the Avengers Tower. He could use the 2 wilds to rescue these 2 civilians. That would clear another objective. All right, let's go for that. Yeah, so play this, and we'll use this, and that lets him move here, rescue these 2, and that clears this objective. So now that unlocks the ability for us to actually start damaging Red Skull. And at the end of his turn, I can search my deck for 1 card and set it aside, then shuffle your deck and place that card on top. So if I could give him 1 card, I think it would be this one that has 2 wilds. Makes sense to shuffle up the others. Place that one on top. All right, and then we have Widow's turn. She gets to draw a card. Okay, so she has a few options here. At the start, heroes starting their turn in this location take 1 crisis token. So she's going to take a 3rd crisis token. Okay. And she's got to start damaging him. We've got a wild here from Iron Man that she's going to get. She's going to play this card that gives her 2 wilds. So she can do 3 damage to Red Skull. I think that'd be smart. All right, and then it's Red Skull's turn again. Okay, he's going to move 5 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then he's going to add a bunch of guys to the board. So 2 thugs and 2 civilians to his location. And then 1 of each to each adjacent location. Okay, no problem. It didn't cause anything bad to happen, really. All right, and then Cap's going to get to go. All right, so he's going to get 2 wilds from Black Widow. And then he either can play a card with 2 wilds or 2 heroic actions. So the problem there is only that he's kind of far away from Red Skull. It would take him 1, 2, 3 moves to get to where Red Skull is. Yeah, so that's not great. I could play his 2 wilds, which give me a total of 4 wilds between his card and Widow's last card. He could use 3 of those to move and then punch him once, but that seems really inefficient. So I think what I'll do is I'll use this card, give him 2 heroic actions. So he's got 2 heroics and 2 wilds. He'll use 1 of those wilds as a heroic, so he'll have 3 heroic actions to clear this card. That clears this threat here. Clears a threat, clears this mission, which means everybody gets to draw a card. Nice little power up there. And then he has 1 wild card left. Okay. Well, one wild action left. Let's go ahead and maybe just take out this thug. And then if it ends his turn here, he can move to any other location. So we'll go ahead and move him over to Central Park where Red Skull is. Although Red Skull is likely to move, but still, I think that's maybe a good move. Okay. All right. So I believe that means it's Red Skull's turn again. Okay. Red Skull is going to go... He's not going to move. He's going to just do his BAM right where he is. And his BAM effect is deal 1 damage to each hero in Red Skull's location and increase the fear track by 2. So the fear track went up to 11. And 1 damage to Cap. I'll put this under there. Okay. So now it's Iron Man's turn. Iron Man gets to draw a card. Okay. He's going to get two special actions. Okay, well, let's use this card. So this card lets me distribute 2 of these attack tokens among any heroes. I'm just going to go ahead and give them to himself. And then he's going to get a move and 2 heroic actions. So he'll use 1 heroic action to rescue this bystander. He'll use his move here, use his 2nd heroic action to rescue that civilian. And then he'll use these 2 tokens that he just gave himself to do 2 damage to Red Skull. All right, so that was Iron Man. And now we have Black Widow. So, okay, she's got a few options. She's going to get 1 move automatically from Iron Man's last card. So we might as well use that, I think, to move over here. And then I guess we'll play this card, which is Interrogate. Look at the top card of the Master Plan deck. I can place it on the bottom. I don't know. This isn't too bad. Let's see. So I'm looking at, he's going to not move. He's going to do 1 damage to each of my guys, which isn't great for Cap, because Cap's pretty close to getting knocked down. And then he's going to move, for each crisis token the heroes have, advance the fear track by 1. So that would move the fear track up a total of 5. All right, so yeah, let's put that on the bottom, because that's not great. Okay, and then she gets 1 attack. So she'll use the 1 attack to do 1 damage to Red Skull. Okay, now it's Red Skull's turn. Okay, he's going to move 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then, oh, let me back up a second real quick. At the end of her turn, she can move up to 2 civilians or thugs in any combination from this location to any other location. So we'll do that. We'll move 1 of them to here. And we'll probably just do that. We'll just move 1 of them there. Kind of lighten the load over here a little bit. All right, then let's do his. So he's going to move 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's going to do his BAM effect. Doesn't damage anybody, because there's nobody there for him to damage, but he moves the fear track up twice. And then he's going to add some thugs. Oh, that's not good. 2 to his location, which is going to cause his fear track to go up 1, because there was some overflow there. Then 1 to that location, and 1 to this location. All right. Cap's turn. He gets to draw a card. He's going to get 1 attack. Okay, he's going to play this card that gives him 2 wild actions. So he's got 2 wilds and an attack. He can use the 2 wilds to move over here, and the 1 attack to deal 1 damage to Red Skull. And then we have Iron Man's turn. Gets to draw a card. All right, he's going to have 2 wilds automatically. So I'm just going to have him play this card, which gives him 2 attacks. So he can use his 2 wilds to move over there where Red Skull is, and he can use, well, his 2 attacks to pick up the slug and finish off Red Skull. And that is the game. All right, we won. Red Skull only got his threat up to 14 out of 20, so I had a little bit of wiggle room there before I would have lost. Yeah, so that's the game. Let's go back up top and just talk about it a minute. All right, so that was a game of Marvel United. I have some of the expansion material for this game, but that was all heroes and villains and stuff from the base box. Hopefully that gave you a bit of an idea how the game plays if you haven't played it before. I know it wasn't really teaching you every rule of the game, but hopefully it gave you kind of the gist of it. So as you can see, it's a pretty fun little game. Bit of hand management there, deciding what cards you're going to play. It's kind of cool how each hero on your turn, you play a card, and then you also get symbols from the last card from the previous hero's turn. So you kind of get to build off of each other a little bit there as well. There's a number of things to manage, right? You have to manage the civilians and thugs. You don't want them to build up too much. You have those different threats on each location that you can try to address. And then, of course, once you can deal damage to the villain, you gotta, take him out to finish the game. This was a pretty easy game. Red Skull is the easiest villain in the game, so don't take that as necessarily an indication of the overall difficulty of the game. You can play with other villains, and some of them are much more challenging. But yeah, so again, my name is Nathan. You're watching Nice at Dice. Thank you so much for watching, and you enjoy the rest of your day.